Hey Retro Crew, video games sure have changed a lot since we were kids. Today we're going to talk about that a little bit.
I'm Matt.
I'm Brian, and we're the Retro Sons.
I miss the way video games used to be. Not that I don't like the new games, but they were different back in the day.
Yeah, today they're like trying to tell too much of a story and make it more like you're playing through a movie than just a simple little distraction.
Yeah, I miss, like, you could just put the game disc in, turn it on, and 10 seconds later you're playing.
Yeah, that was great.
Nowadays it's like a 4-hour load time. You're like, well, now what do I do?
Now what?
You can figure out pretty much anything instantly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the internet and, like, gaming books, and there's, like, Nintendo Power back in the day, but that only told you so much.
Yeah, they'd give you the booklet with the game. It would tell you like the basic story and some of the weapons and enemies and that kind of stuff. Like basic, but it's not like everything step by step what you have to do to.
Yeah, give you little hints on how to play the game and make it a little bit easier for yourself. But back in the day, games were so much harder, I think, than they are nowadays.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't hard games out there, like there definitely are.
Mm-hmm. And they do give you the option to change the difficulty level too.
On a lot of games.
All too easy.
Back in the day, though, they didn't have that. You just started it, and the difficulty was the same for everybody.
Right.
I do like the difficulties nowadays, though. That's something I do like. Because when I play a game, I don't like to like suffer through the entire thing. I like to play through on one of the easier difficulties. Not easy, but I'll do it like normal. And I like to figure things out on my own. Games nowadays kind of hold your hand too much. Like if you're looking around for a few minutes, if you can't, or if you don't find the exit, they're like, there's a giant arrow pointing at it. It's like, you go this way.
Yeah, or Uncharted, it just like gives you the hint button. And, like, draws your attention right to what you need to be looking at.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And there are a lot of games in that same vein. They'll give you like a companion and they'll tell you what to do. And be like, hey, that over there looks suspicious.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, back in the day it was just a protagonist doing his thing.
Especially in like treasure hunting games, Uncharted is a big one. I like to look around the entire area to find treasure.
Right.
And every time I'm doing that, they're like, hey, what do you think this is over here?
We should
Shut
probably
up,
get
Elena.
moving.
Yeah. I'm looking for treasure over here. I don't like that.
Yeah, and this isn't kind of related to that, but you mentioned the companion Elena and everything. You always hate when they get in your way.
Yeah.
Like during a gunfight. Yeah.
Get out of my way.
It's just funny to me.
Like there's cover right here, that's the only cover, and they're there, and you can't get there, and you get killed. It's like, oh, thanks, Elena.
Yeah.
A stupid side character or partner, or whatever they call them, that can't get killed takes your only cover. Especially in the gunfights.
Right.
It makes me so mad.
It just makes me so angry.
Part of the fun of a game for me is figuring out what to do. If they're holding your hand and telling you what to do, I hate that. I wish there was a way to turn that off in games nowadays.
Yeah, like Ocarina of Time. If you like your first playthrough, maybe have Navi telling you what to do and how to open doors and all that. But if you're playing through like your 20th time, you don't need to be like walk up to a door and press B and it'll open.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, you don't need it. I wish you could turn that off. I wish you could turn her off completely, so she didn't even like, hey, Saria wants to talk to you or whatever.
Hey, listen.
It push up C to talk to Saria.
Yeah.
No, I'm all set. I don't need her to tell me the forest is looking beautiful today or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish you could turn that off. That would be good. I mean, nowadays games you should be able to. But you put the first Zelda game in and turn it on, there's nothing.
Yeah, it just opens up. You're just in the middle of the screen, and there's a door you know to go in. Or...
And I've seen people play that game like recently, like it's their first playthrough, and they're like, first time I played Zelda 2023. And they all hate it. They're like, this game is so hard, I can't figure anything out. But I've played it so many times, and I've never had any of that stuff, and I know where to go, what to do, where everything is, and that's just because I've played it so much and learned it all.
Yeah. And that was their intention back then. They wanted you to explore and figure it out on your own, or talk to your friends. Or
yeah, well, Shigeru Miyamoto said he wants people to like talk to their friends in the schoolyard or on the school bus and learn where to go, what to do. If you're stuck on something, you could talk to your friend. He wanted it to be like a social.
Right.
Like it's a video game you play by yourself, but he wanted it to be a social experience.
Yeah, he wanted to create chatter and excitement about it.
They're so excited.
Yeah, and I miss the game discs too. Now
Yeah.
they're so small.
Right? And you still get the PS4.
You think I ever lost
Disc.
a NES game? No, you always knew where those things were.
I never lost my Sports Illustrated swimsuit photo.
Like a Switch game is this big.
Mhm.
Like, it's so easy to drop and lose, and
Well, you just do the digital downloads, and if you don't pay for your subscription, then you can't play it.
yeah, I don't like that either.
No. I mean, the Nintendo games would glitch out, and you weren't supposed to, but you'd have to blow on them and
Yeah,
push it down and up a few times.
yeah, every kid did that. I
Slam
think.
we slammed the lid. I don't think that really did anything, but in our head it did, and then the game would work.
Yeah, and you'd be like, huh, I did it.
Yeah, you can't really do that with like PlayStation or a Switch or anything nowadays.
No, it's like, it worked.
No, and you scratch a disc, then it's not gonna work ever again.
Obviously.
No, but I do miss the old days. Like, you'd be at school thinking all day, and I know what happens nowadays,
Mhm.
but that's like when I gamed most, and that's like my fondest memories of gaming.
Yeah.
I'd be like, A Link to the Past is waiting for me at home. Then I go home and just play it all weekend if it was a Friday.
Hmm.
It wasn't that easy with 3 brothers, though.
No.
The 4 of us.
Right. And you'd have to write down codes so you could get back to where you were. Some games,
Yeah,
I know some of them would
games,
save.
yeah.
But like I've talked about Super Empire Strikes Back before, that was the game for me.
Yeah.
Like I'd have my book with the codes in it, and I'd have to remember where I was, and I'd write like Han, Cloud City, or Lando, Chewie, Cloud City, or something like that.
Yeah. And that game is hard.
Hmm.
And another thing, some games, if you're on a difficulty and you're trying something over and over and over and you keep failing, it'll bump down the difficulty and make it easier.
Mhm.
I don't like that either.
Or it'll give you the option to skip that part entirely.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
Some
seen that
games.
before too. Or they'll even say, do you want to drop the difficulty?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Why do you think I'm doing this over and over? I want that gratification of actually accomplishing something in this game.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I like about video games. I don't like when they hold your hand and make things easier and tell you what to do. There's some games that are just like, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah.
Like, every step of the way they tell you what to do. And I know there are games that don't do that too, but
It's fine if they give you a tutorial in the beginning. There's some like a
like
think it was some-
Everything or Nothing.
yeah,
or
that's what I was
one
gonna.
was it?
It was everything or nothing. Like I think they gave you a first level to play through, and then they gave you like it was the Q training thing, but it was really a tutorial.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but they set that up fun.
Yeah.
I liked that tutorial.
me too.
It's like Breath of the Wild. It's like they kind of just dropped you in, but you could do whatever you wanted, but there's like a small area to start.
Yeah. I was just thinking when he stole the king's apple, and he's like, "Hey, that's mine."
Yeah, don't just steal someone's apple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apropos of nothing, but it just popped in my head, so I
Yeah.
said it.
and I'm gonna say the controversial thing, but I like games that are more linear.
Blasphemer!
Like Ocarina of Time is a perfect game. Like you can go wherever you want, but you can't like. There are a couple of levels you can switch and do in out of order, but most of them you have to do like in order, especially the first 3.
Right.
Like Breath of the Wild is just too big, too much to do, and the difficulty ramping, it doesn't ramp up in difficulty at all.
No.
I know if you beat a bunch of enemies, they'll get harder and more difficult as you go, but if you go to one Divine Beast, then the second, then third, and the fourth, they're all going to be about the same difficulty.
Hmm.
Like the Deku tree or Deku tree, whatever it is easier than the Zora fish there, which is easier than, or the Goron mine is second.
Yeah.
That's a little bit harder than the fish.
Jabu Jabu.
Jabu Jabu is a little bit harder. Then the other levels get progressively harder too. Like it gets more difficult as you play, and I like that.
Yeah.
Game like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, great games. I love them, but wherever you go, it's going to be the same difficulty everywhere.
No feeling of progression.
Yeah, no
Nothing.
progression, nothing.
Nothing like holding you back. Like,
Yeah. Like you see a place, you can go there. It's not like, oh, there's something on the wall up there, but I can't get to it. What is that?
Yeah.
Then later on in the dungeon, you get a hook shot, and wait a second, I saw that thing on that wall like 14 hours ago. What was that? Then you go back and you can get up there, and it's like makes the old area new again.
Yeah.
Makes it exciting, and it's not like just the same thing. Like I said, Breath of the Wild is great, but I miss the weapons. I miss like a good story.
Hmm.
Like, you can find the memories out of order, and it ruins later things in the game for you.
Right.
And I know they do hide that last memory behind the other 12, but still, in Tears of the Kingdom, like, if you get a wrong memory, you can ruin the entire game for yourself. I like to start at the beginning and have the story build and build and build and like go in order.
Yeah.
If in those games, no matter what memory you found, they put them in order. Like the first time I played Breath of the Wild, I was so confused. I'm like, what is going on here? Because all the memories, you find them out of order.
Out of order! You're out of order!
But then as you play, you kind of learn and piece it together in the order it should be. Like, I don't want a Quentin Tarantino a game, though. I want it to be in order from beginning to end.
Yeah, there's just too much freedom, and I don't know. You just know...
Not that open world games aren't good, but I like the story to be... It can be open world and linear at the same time, which they should do in the next Zelda game, I think. I've heard a lot of people say it. But there's a way, like, you can do levels in order, but go wherever you want. You can see a level and be like, oh, what is that? Oh, I can't get up to it yet. Okay, I'll remember that. I'll store it in my memory and actually use it in this video game.
Yeah, right.
You may want to log it away for future use.
And not that I want hints, but there should be a spot where you can go talk to someone and they kind of give you like, hey, have you checked this out recently or something?
Yeah, just something cryptic, so you have to like figure it out on your own, not just like, yeah, go to...
Yeah, this is the exact location. I'll mark it on your map for you. Bing!
Yeah, make sure you check this out here and take a picture for this person or whatever.
Yeah, so, side quests. And like in the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Not that those are the only new games out there, but those are probably my favorites. But why don't you collect 14 bugs for me and bring them back? You do that, you spend 2 hours doing that, and you bring them back, and he's like, here's 100 rupees. So I did that for nothing?
Yeah.
I could have gone 2 steps from you, broken that, got a diamond, and got 500 rupees.
Or they like give you an option to like buy the thing for them, so you go and spend money, then you come back and get like less than you spent on the...
Well, that place was a ripoff.
Yeah, there's a lot of games like that, though, like The Witcher. I haven't played it, but I assume it's a lot like that. Like, here's a random side quest for nothing.
Yeah,
it's just a time killer. Like, which I don't mind. I mean, that's fun, but...
Yeah.
Actually make the prize something useful to me. Like, here's a gauntlet you can't find anywhere else or something.
Yeah, or like a way to strengthen your weapons or like a stronger weapon type of thing.
I upgraded one of your weapons. Now it has better durability.
Yeah.
Which the next Zelda game shouldn't have a weapon durability system either.
I know if you find the Koroks and bring enough to Hestu, he'll like expand your inventory, but
yeah.
I mean, that's another thing. Like, they'll let you carry as many goblin guts or toenails or anything else you collect, as many as you want, but you can only carry a certain amount of weapons, the things you need. You have to like work hard to upgrade those.
Which kind of makes sense, but I like how you don't have a wallet size in this one either. You can get as much money as you want.
Right.
But I miss the old days where you actually had to work to get to the end of the game.
Yeah. And nowadays, those games are all about like telling this great big story over the whole game. And back in the day, like Super Mario World was just save the Yoshis and defeat Bowser. It's like, oh, you're on vacation in Dino Land and all the Yoshi babies have been stolen. That's it.
50 levels for you. Have fun.
Yeah. And you can like beat a level.
Branching paths and that, and more than one way to beat the levels. And
And that was another thing in the Mario games. You have the level select screen and you go to the different levels. Nowadays, it's like you drop down in the world and just run and get a moon sprite or whatever they're called nowadays.
Yeah, I hear the next Mario game is going to be open world.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're going to do that.
Mario 64 was kind of like that, but you'd have to go back to the castle every time you got a star.
It had like a hub world.
Yeah, and there's different ways to enter a level, like the clock level. You could jump in backwards and the gears would be going backwards. Or if you jump in at noon or something, they'd just all be stopped. Yeah,
different times they'd be doing different things. They'd be going extra slow. They'd be going extra fast.
Mm-hmm.
Just to switch it up for you.
Yeah.
And... oh, excuse me.
We're losing him! We're losing him! He's dying!
In Super Mario World, you could get like those blocks, and you get them like later on. Mm-hmm. And they change levels way back in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd have to go back and play those ones so you could see, you could get to different areas, and it just game developers used their brains a little bit more back then.
Right.
They made the games like much more to do.
Yeah. Nowadays, like we just said, it's just about telling a story and like basically letting you play a movie and making it look as real as possible. And
Yeah.
back then, they did what they could with like the 8-bit graphics or 16-bit. And, like,
Yeah, and it was imagination. Like there's a lot of
like
the little character was this big, you couldn't really see what they looked like.
Mhm. Or like the sound effects. It's like that was the sound of that item.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's like hyper realistic and
Yeah, everything makes the sound it should in real life. I really do miss, and it's not like we can't go back and play these old games, but
yeah,
the first time you play them is a lot different than like going back 30 years later and replaying them.
right.
And I know there are like Shovel Knight and Cuphead.
Oh, that
Yeah.
one's hard.
That one's very hard.
We got far in that one,
Yeah.
but then we just
Are
like
kind of like old games, and I like that. A lot of indie developers make those games.
Yeah.
I do want to play Tunic too.
Tunic.
Yeah, that one looks good. I hear that one's really hard.
It's brutality for brutality's sake.
So there are games kind of like old day games, but it's just not the same. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's certain games you can't go back and play unless you have like the old TV Duck Hunt, the
Yeah,
zapper
like the
with
CRT TV or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do miss those.
Yeah,
You could probably use the VR headset now and
but
play a
just
game.
probably wouldn't be the same because
No.
you'd have like that old zapper in your hand and the click of the trigger and all that.
Yeah.
And,
You have to be careful too; those can get deadly.
mm-hmm. I just had a reference to my finger.
Yeah,
It healed.
yeah. Eventually,
Just a
But-
side scar.
and it might just be us getting old too.
Could be.
Yeah,
But
we're not trying to say that games nowadays are just trash, because they are. There are really good video games out there, and I love a lot of them.
yeah.
But I just miss the simplicity of the olden ones. Like you put it in, you turn it on, and you're playing.
Mhm.
I mean, nowadays sometimes I turn my system on, put a game in to play that's already loaded, and it's like, oh, you need to update this.
Yeah.
Come on, I just want to play.
Mhm.
Especially if you haven't played a game in a long time. Like if I put Uncharted and now it's been probably half a year, a little bit more since I played, I'd probably have to update not only the game, but probably the system too.
Probably, yeah.
I'd be like, I just want to play. But if I put in like the original Legend of Zelda or Donkey Kong or this or that, bing, and I'm playing.
Yeah, right.
Could it really be that fast?
Well, technology is good and bad at the same time. And I think that's just about all I have to say.
Yeah,
I've ranted enough for today.
I think I've given my 2 cents when I had them.
Alright, so let us know what you think. Let us know if you think old games are better than new, or I don't know, if they are getting better. I know they're getting better, but
Yeah.
it's just nice to rant every once in a while. Like, comment, subscribe. There'll be an orb over here. Watch one of these 2 videos, and we'll see you in the future.
To talk more about the past.